Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lovin Amman. We've got an exciting lineup today, covering the latest stories that has everyone talking in Jordan. From the quirks of our daily commutes to some light-hearted moments in the election season, there's plenty to discuss. So let's jump right in.
Thank you so much, Tarek, for the introduction. Let's kick things off with a little tech talk. Have you guys ever noticed how using Google Maps in Jordan is like in playing a game of chance? Like sometimes you just plug in your destination, and before you know it, you're on your way to a trip to the middle of nowhere. Like seriously, the other day, I wanted to go from the third circle to the first circle, and it took me to somewhere completely not related. So yeah, just be careful when you're using Google Maps.
Seriously, it's like Google Maps has a personal vendetta against Jordanians. Like looking for a cafe? Nope. Here's a scenic route through the desert instead. It's a reminder that, technology doesn't always have our backs. And especially in Jordan, where like some of the streets are not really streets and more as like goat paths, we have to get a little bit more careful when it comes to exploring the lesser known parts of Jordan. But this is the cool thing about it. It is letting us kind of have a little adventure and do find kind of things and places where we never have thought to go before. As an example, I was trying to go to Madaba, and I finally discovered where all our olive oil comes from because it sent me through a road through like all the factories where we make olive oil. So that was like a little bit of an educational experience for me.
100%, 100%. I think Google Maps is just trying to be adventurous on our behalf. Since Jordan is like filled with just with what you just said is like the roads are not like really roads and streets like conventional streets. But honestly, I think it's the little experiences that make every journey in Jordan a memorable one. Like it's I think we should just look at it from the positive side instead of looking at it negatively. Unless you're late for work, then yeah. If that's the case, then I can't blame you for being angry.
Absolutely, absolutely. But talking about like late for work and stuff, right? Next up, let's
Yeah.
talk about the uniquely Jordanian experience. I don't know if it's uniquely Jordanian, but it's خلاص. It's now a Jordanian experience through and through. Getting stuck in traffic. Now, traffic jams are nothing new, but have you been noticing how the honking starts to sound like a melody after a while? People have gotten used to it. Personally, I found this between next to City Mall. That street is constantly, whatever time of day is just always busy, and I swear to God, it becomes like a symphony of like, oh, someone beeps from here, and then you have another like volume of beep from another truck or something, and it just starts becoming like a Beethoven musical.
100%, 100%, totally. It's like every driver is trying to outdo the next one in creating the most rhythmic honk. It's like it's extremely hilarious. It's almost like we've got an unspoken orchestra on the streets where frustration meets creativity, and where taking frustrating moments and making them into a light-hearted ones.
It's so funny because like something as annoying as a traffic jam, alhamdulillah, in Jordan can turn into an impromptu concert. Only in Jordan can we turn a bad situation like this into a chance for a little musical expression. I don't think anywhere else they can do something like this.
100%, couldn't agree more. And let's jump into the Jordan's iconic sounds. For our listeners who've been traveling, I think you'll know this one. Coming back to Amman after a trip and expecting a peaceful chirping of birds to greet you, but actually, what you come back to is the unmistakable tune of the Jordanian gas truck. If you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. The sound of home. I remember growing up in Shmesani, and the first thing I would listen to is like, na 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 na. Like, I don't know how.
100%.
I don't know how to sing it, but it's like it's seared into my mind. خلاص. Like whenever I think of childhood, that sound always comes back. And I remember like as the sun is rising, I would just constantly hear this. So for me, nothing says welcome back like that jingle. It's one of those things that you don't realize you've missed until you hear it again.
Exactly, exactly. Like you're spot on. It might not be the most soothing sound ever, but it's definitely comforting in its own way. It's like Jordan got that special thing in it. Like these special moments, these special little things, they just speak volumes to what we remember about our country. And it's like the city's or the country's way of saying welcome back. We've missed you. It's honestly, I wouldn't want it any other way, honestly.
Talking about one thing that I would want some in another way, honestly. Election posters covering traffic lights. Okay, look now on like something that's both amusing. Okay, maybe like it's amusing and it's very much frustrating. Now with season in Jordan, everyone and their grandfather has been putting like posters all along the roads. Like everywhere you go, you're just going to see like tons and tons of posters. The issue becomes is when they start covering the traffic lights. You know, we've probably noticed that some of the campaign posters are strategically, or not so strategically, placed over the traffic lights.
100%, right? It's like playing a game of guess the light, honestly. Like the other day I was going to work and I've seen that just happening to me right in front of my eyes. It's like the poster is covering the entire traffic light and the lights of the that are coming from the traffic light are coming or going through the poster. So when they go through the poster, it kind of like disrupts the light itself. So you're trying to guess like, is it red? Is it green? Is it yellow? And as you approach an intersection, you are left wondering if it's safe to go or if you should like hit the brakes or just stop in your way.
100%. Now okay. It's another one of those quirks of Jordanian life, and we've always gotten used to it. I feel like this election season now it's come with its own set of challenges because it just seems like the posters are more, and especially with Amman growing, navigating traffic plus these hurdles, plus sometimes I'm not sure if you had the same experience, but I'll be driving on a road. I'll be going like 60 kilometers an hour, and sometimes the posters like were broken a little bit, so some of the wooden pieces would be sticking out onto the road, and I really feel yeah, I swear to God I feel like okay, this is a kind of giving me last destination vibe.
Exactly. Exactly. I had that happen to me and on the Beha Road close to the higher education. It's actually crazy. Like I know it's frustrating and it's unhealthy and unhinged kind of, but also it's like a part of it's all part of the excitement, right? Like it's we're in the middle of an important democratic process, but just so you like for the next time, maybe we could keep the traffic lights visible and the streets empty and safe.
Talking about safety, and something that was very controversial on our page recently, the bus line 52 incident. So to give you some backstory, on bus line 52 there was an altercation between the bus driver and a man in black that till now we don't know really anything information about him, right? And so the man in black got pissed and started hitting the bus driver. And we reported on it. It happened 9:50 a.m. We reported it around 11. Like we were very quick to report on it, and we believe that this like it's an important thing to talk about, right? And there was it was really weird on social media. Like the wide range of reactions online.
Exactly. I think like it's a tricky situation. Like some people were upset about the incident being shared at all, arguing that it gives a negative impression of our public transport and of our city and country in general, while the others felt like it was important to show the reality of what happens sometimes. And I think it is I kind of agree with like with both sides, but at the same time I think we should just keep it fair and keep it honest because these things happen all over the world and it's just like if we were to show something like this once like every couple of weeks, it I don't think I don't think people will or like anyone who would just come and check this or read about this would generalize it or like would stereotype it all over like our country and cities.
You're absolutely right. It's a tricky situation. Now, on one hand, these incidents do happen, like you said, but
Yeah.
I feel like the reasoning of why, as a Loving Amman team, we decided to like kind of showcase this is intentionally, and there's an Arabic word for this. I'm not sure about the translation in English, but we wanted to niftaho. We really wanted like we don't want this happening.
Yeah.
We don't want our government employees and just this poor bus driver, right, getting hit by a guy who obviously like goes to the gym and thinks he's like all that thing, right? We don't want that to
Yeah.
happen. So I feel like by showcasing this, it might bring a level of shame to these people that I think it's okay to hit like some random bus driver, and maybe we can start to shape the public perception around the whole thing.
100% couldn't agree more. Now let's jump into something extremely funny. Have you guys seen Homelander across the streets or lighting up the streets these days. Uh, the internet actually, or someone from Jordan created a meme. I assume he's from Jordan. Created a meme about Homelander from The Boys, showing up on Jordanian election posters. Like honestly, who would have seen that coming? It's honestly like the funniest thing I've seen in decades.
Absolutely. It's the talk of a town now, seeing Homelander with his intense stare on a campaign poster with a hilarious twist. His name, like, Arabicized into some weird weird
Yeah,
name.
it's hilarious.
The internet had a field day with it, memes, jokes, you name it. We had not only Homelander, we had like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, The Deep also from Homelander, so like other characters from The Deep. It's
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it?
It's honestly like moments like these that remind us even in tough times, even in politics can have a lighter side. It's all about finding humor in unexpected places, and I think Jordanians are like the masters of this. They always find something positive in every situation, whether it was negative, tough, hard, light, whatever. I think we're just the masters of this, honestly.
Absolutely, but now like kind of segueing into something that is still lighthearted but maybe more annoying. Valet parking, or what we would consider valet parking. Let's talk about it's become an experience of its own, and not always in a good way.
100%. I think valet parking here can feel like rolling the dice because sometimes your car comes back just fine, and other times, well, let's say it's seen better days. Like honestly, the other day I was trying to park at the Abdali Mall, and I couldn't find a park for my car. So I saw a valet, and I gave him my car. And when I finished my shopping and my everything in the Abdali Mall, I came back and I've seen my car parked in the most heinous way possible, like you can ever imagine. It's honestly like it's like gambling, honestly.
It's all part of a charm, right? You hand over your keys and you pray to God and you hope it's going to come back in
Yeah.
one piece. but also where the valet parking ends and the public street begins, that's a whole other question, right? Because and you found this a hilarious video where like it kind of shows how true this is, where someone will come running down from the street saying, this is valet parking. Why? Because there's like a restaurant all the way down at the other end of the road,
100%.
and they've decided, and okay, this public street is now theirs.
100%. Like you can see it all over Amman and Jordan, honestly. I think it's a bit frustrating from my end, but valet valet parking in Jordan just never fails to surprise, honestly.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. We covered everything from Google Maps, a Google Maps sense of adventure, to the quirks of Jordanian elections. Life in Jordan is never boring, and that's for sure.
100%. Thank you guys for listening. We would love to hear your thoughts. What's your most memorable valet experiences? Or maybe if you've got a funny story about getting lost with Google Maps, please do share it with us and let us know your experiences in the adventurous Jordan.
Stay connected with us, share your stories, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.